I'd like to call to order the Charter Township of Chesterfield Regular Township Board meeting for Tuesday, February 25th, 2025 at 7 p.m. to order. Could we all please stand, face the flag, and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have Deputy Clerk Rush sitting up here with me tonight. Welcome. We're going to get through this. We have a couple of electeds that are not here. Trustee Vosberg asked that she be excused, and Clerk Berry announced that she would not be here. With that being said, Deputy Rush, would you call the roll?
Certainly. Supervisor Kersten.
Here.
Treasurer Elliott.
Here.
Trustee Anderson.
Here.
Trustee Joseph.
Here.
Trustee Hornberger.
Item 4, approval of agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Support.
Trustee Hornberger, supported by Treasurer Elliott. Is there any discussion? I have a motion by Trustee Hornberger, supported by Treasurer Elliott, to approve the agenda. Deputy Rush.
Trustee Hornberger.
Yes.
Treasurer Elliott.
Yes.
Trustee Anderson.
Aye.
Trustee Joseph.
Aye.
Supervisor Kersten.
Aye. Item 5, presentations. We have none scheduled tonight. Item 6, department reports. There are a few department reports tonight. Karen, I don't have the list. Chief Miller.
Sorry about that. Good evening. A couple of unique incidents that the fire department has responded to in the last 10 days, and just wanted to report to the board on these. And I guess the underlying tone of it is working together. And you'll see in the picture behind you, we were called Monday morning about 9 o'clock through a group that we're part of with his Southeast Michigan Dive Group. And we were requested to assist with flooding that took place in Detroit. I'm sure most folks saw on the news, 54-inch water main let loose. And the pictures you're seeing here are a little bit later in the event, and it shows the water going down. This is after they secured the leak and started reducing it. But the water was about waist to mid-thigh deep in a lot of areas. Chesterfield firefighters, we responded with a crew of 3 in our small inflatable boat. We worked with the Shelby Township Fire Department, also the city of Detroit, and 40 other strike teams from around the state of Michigan. They checked 400 structures, and we were able, just Chesterfield, to remove 35 to 40 residents out using the small boat to get them to dry land. And overall, there was 94 people that were helped to get out of their homes, to get to shelter areas, and 17 pets. The next event we had the same day, matter of fact, just a couple hours later, we were called to RV storage facility up on 26 Mile Road. And working together in this situation, when we arrived on scene, New Haven Fire Department was already there, along with Lennox. They were dispatched by 911 from passersby seeing the smoke. This is a large Class A motorhome that's burned up. You can see it's pretty much gone, which also involved damaging a boat and an adjoining camper. Our crews were able to work together with our neighboring departments, bring the fire under control in a matter of just a few minutes. Even though we had a problem, there are no hydrants up there. So we had to call in for water tender trucks from other parts of the county to come and help us do that. And then finally, the Saturday night before that, we were called almost about 9:30 at night for a report of a snowmobile through the ice off of Goulet Point in the Lottie View area. We responded with our ice rescue response procedure, and we initially called out for help from our neighbors in St. Clair County from Ira Township, who have an airboat that they regularly use for ice rescues. They responded immediately to Brandenburg Park, launched the boat from there, and with our 2 firefighters in ice suits went out and made contact with the 2 people that were on the snowmobile, got them on safe ice, and then we waited for the ride back with the airboat. We sent one to McLaren Hospital to be checked out for hypothermia, but fortunately we were able to get both of them off the ice right away. If you have any questions, be happy to answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. A quick update from the assessing department. Assessment change notices were mailed out last week. This document behind you is an example of an understanding of your assessment change notice. This notice advises property owners of proposed 2025 changes in property values, current classification, exemption, and transfer status, along with appeal rights for the upcoming March Board of Review. The March Board of Review will be held on March 10th and Tuesday, March 11th. The meetings will be held at the main municipal building next to the clerk's office. This document and all the Board of Review information can be found online on our township website. I also wanted to mention that the assessing department mailed out disabled veteran approval letters to all qualifying disabled veterans that have applied. Beginning January 1st of 2025, this exemption, once granted, will remain in effect without subsequent reapplication by the veteran or unremarried surviving spouse. The exemption will continue until rescinded by the property owner or revoked by the assessor. These are the two items that I wanted to address with the board. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them.
Any questions for Carrie? None? Thank you, Carrie. Appreciate it. Mr. Sonnenberg?
Good evening. I just wanted to provide the board and the residents updates with some of our biggest projects. This is our police exterior renovation project that we've been talking about from meeting to meeting. As you can see in this picture, that was back on February 11th around our last board meeting. You'll see that was after we removed the pole and we had started coating the wall. If you'll go to the next slide, Karen. This was yesterday. You can see that the steel structure, that our secondary structure that holds the insulation, which the steel panels are actually mounted to, you'll see that that's that last area that we're doing in the side of the building that's facing town center. There's a blue accent, that kind of an arch that goes up and around the top of that and then encompasses that door to the left. So if you'll, next slide, Karen. If we zoom out here, you'll kind of see that that's the last area of the building. We spent a lot of time on that area because we had a lot of, as you know, the electrical service was there, so we had to re-engineer that and do some things. So we're getting close to the end of the project on this side of the building. We're looking, really, this project will still go into April because we got some concrete work and other things to do. As the weather gets nicer, we're kind of holding off to do those last couple things. If you'll go to the next slide, Karen. This picture just shows the difference from, this was back in July, from what we removed on that side of the building and what the building looked like at that time. All those things that are marked in red, sorry, Karen, if you go back, that's what was removed. The high electrical items, the CT cabinet, the pipe going down, the pole. All those exposed wires kind of create a long-term issue. You know, the potential for failure is greater when things are exposed. So us bringing those into conduit and underground will provide us some less area or less risk in the future. So it's a good thing, but we're making good progress and we're on time and under budget still. So I'm happy to still be saying those things. We plan to finish under budget like most of our projects. Next slide, Karen. This is our entry that we had talked about at our last meeting. We talked about putting those walk-off mats. You can still see during construction we'll have those runners from front to back as we get a lot of contractors walking through the building, but you can see the carpet, permanent floor mats that'll be in. That's walk-off carpet, so it's just a little bit easier for us to get without those mats in there. We got new ceiling tile in that area, so we're just about ready to wrap up with a couple more ceiling tiles. We'll be done in that area and we'll pull those mats as we get closer to construction. Next slide, Karen. This was today, we did our last large rooftop lift, our last large crane lift. So all of our units are all updated. In that area, that requires us to shut the heat off for a week. So we brought some supplemental heaters in. If you go to the next slide, Karen. This shows us kind of in the building, some of those heaters that will be running for the next week just to keep the temperature above freezing. Thankfully, the weather's supposed to be a little bit warmer, so we won't need them as much, but just in case we do, well, they hook up that new rooftop, those will be running in our new construction area. And as you can see, the walls have their first coat of finished paint. The door jambs are in. Those are painted. So we're getting pretty close. If you go to the next slide, Karen. We actually have our furniture on site, which you can see covered up to the right. This phase should be just about done at the end of next month. So we're moving along as scheduled. We got all of our material on site. We're doing really well. Next slide, Karen. This is our boardroom, and this was during our last meeting when we initially started the demo of that room. You can see obviously the table's gone, the light demo is gone. They were starting to pull up the carpet. Next slide, Karen. And this was yesterday. So we can see the trenches are cut in the floor, the walls are demoed, the soffits are demoed where they need to be. So we're getting ready to get into the mechanical phases in this area. So once again in here, we haven't had too many issues. We're moving right along as scheduled. Next slide, Karen. This is something we talked about at our last meeting. There was a couple of signs that were going to go up at our 3 new parks and pathways project areas. So you got the Jefferson Preserve, which is across from Brandenburg, the Altman property, and the Connie Bowles piece. There was 3 signs that went up, so if anybody has any questions on those, they're all related to our Parks and Pathways projects that we have been talking about as a board for quite some time. Next slide, Karen. And also, we're happy to announce that this is the Connie Bowles concept that we just received last week. We received a few of them. So we'll be vetting this as a team and going through these concepts and bringing back to you to discuss in great detail, but we're really excited about this parcel. I know there's a lot of board members that have been pushing real hard to get this parcel moving, and we got some good news in the near future. So we're looking forward to bringing this stuff back and having a detailed discussion. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Treasurer Elliott?
Thank you. This Friday, the treasurer's office will be open until 5. That'll be the last day that you can pay your property taxes at the township. As of Monday, they will go to the county. We have already collected at the end of the collection, the regular collection season of the 14th, we collected over 97% of the taxes owed for 2024. We sent a letter to the over 800 parcels that were still delinquent. They have been paying, folks have been coming in and paying. We've been making phone calls and making sure that people are aware that they have until Friday to pay. The delinquent parcels totaled over $2 million in taxes due. That equaled $60,000 that was still due to the Township General Fund and over $600,000 that was due to the public safety. The assessing department is tracking the disabled veterans exemption. There are more than 200 exemptions that were granted in 2024. This totaled over $27 million in taxes and equated to a reduction of $20,000 to the township's general fund and $216,000 to public safety. For those who are interested in learning more about the veterans or the hardship exemptions, that information is available on our website. Chesterfield Township received $116,457 for the adult use marijuana license. I have this week proposed to the supervisor that we use that money to look at replacing another playground structure, and I believe that he was looking at talking to facilities about that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further comments from the departments or elected, move to item 7. Public comments on agenda items only. Public comments on agenda items only. There's a 3-minute time limit on the agenda items. If you would please state your name just for the record. It is not required. Mic is open.
My name is Joe Kadich. I live on Sutton. I wanted to talk about the engineering cost for putting the water line on Sutton and the valves all along 23 Mile Road. Those 2 engineering costs right now amount to about $250,000. Now you couple that with the $100,000 that was dedicated for the pathway from Jefferson to the school. For this year alone, there's $350,000 for engineering. Mitch's job initially when he came here was recommended by the Water Board, or Water Reserve Board, that we hire our own engineering costs to save the money for the engineering. It was basically speculated that he would at least save his salary. None of that really happened. All Mitch does is process paper, put it out for somebody else to do the engineering and pay them. And he's also responsible for the water department somewhat. Now, if you look at it, for $350,000 just for this year, and I'm sure there's more engineering out there on different items, you could really hire somebody to do the engineering in-house. All of the engineering that I saw on these two ads, you got a whole year to do it. Now, I don't know why we don't have a dedicated engineer. We've got more to follow from all the years if we try and catch up on all the jobs that weren't done within the water department. I suggest that you take a look at this, put Mitch maybe as completely in charge of the water department, where he can develop the plans and operate, you know, how it's supposed to operate, when we're supposed to do replacement, and do a good job for that, take care of that water department, and hire somebody in here and be the engineer. That would be their job. He could pay for himself, particularly with the number of jobs we're doing and the amount we're paying for it. It's not a big deal. You can hire an engineer temporarily. I used to do it at Ford. You can buy temporary engineers, or you could put somebody on full-time. Should take a look at that. Thank you.
John Speaker, Chesterfield Township. Just a recommendation to the board members that you turn your mics on when you speak, please. As far as being a fiscal conservative hawk on the bill run, again, the waste that I see in the bill run is unacceptable. So this board has made no progress in, trying to chop and get rid of the waste. In examples, again, on the bill run, I've got under trustee, which is a new one because I was shocked because I've got a State of Bay address for $60 with no name. So where's the transparency here? I expect transparency on that bill. It's my money and the rest of the taxpayers' money that's being used for the refund to you. Under facilities and operations, every bill run has nothing but tools on it. I mean, by now, somebody could have opened up their own shop. Where's the inventory on these tools, and who makes sure that, everything is where it's supposed to be? Ultima Lawn Service, $3,375 in, snow. Under the treasurer's office, no surprise there. State of the Bay address, no name, for $30. I mean, you guys gave yourself 10 to 20% increases. I mean, I think, Kathy, you can afford a $30 luncheon. Stay for a conference at the Hampton Inn, no name. Where's the transparency? Information and technology for a 2025 email marketing subscription at $27.30. What's that consist of? Under the elections office, I do have a question that we're paying. It's called Monday.com. It's a monthly subscription for $200. So if somebody could explain that to me. Supervisor's office, the Macomb County Economic Forecast. Brad, you're making over $100,000, no name. Who went to that? I mean, you can afford a $55 ticket. The 2025 annual board for the Macomb Chamber, $65, no name, no transparency again. Facilities and operations for our lease program. I mean, this board at the last meeting voted to do the lease renewal, and it's costing this township thousands of dollars. It's not efficient. It's a waste of money. If we're in the situation that the supervisor claims that we're in, we should be buying these vehicles. We should not be leasing these vehicles. In the long run, it's costing the taxpayers like me and everyone else more money. And above all, under agenda item A, when you build a house, you put your plumbing and your electrical in before the drywall. So the plumbing, the street sewer line should have went in.
Time's up.
Before you're putting the water line.
Got to be fair to everybody. Yep. Always do. Always do. Any more comments from the public? Seeing no comments from the public. Item 8, consent agenda. Deputy Rush.
All items under the consent agenda are considered routine by the board and will be enacted in one motion. There is no separate discussion of these items. If discussion of any item is required by a board member, it will be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately. 8A, approval of the minutes of the regular board meeting of February 11th, 2025. 8B, approval of the payment of bills as submitted by the Finance Department.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Treasurer Elliott, supported by Supervisor Kersten to approve the consent agenda as presented. Discussion? Any discussion? Deputy Rush.
Treasurer Elliott.
Aye.
Supervisor Kersten.
Aye.
Trustee Anderson.
Aye.
Trustee Joseph. Trustee Hornberger.
Item 9, public hearings. There are no public hearings scheduled tonight. Item 10A, the regular agenda. Deputy Rush.
10A, to approve a recommendation from Public Services to award engineering design services to OHM in the amount of $115,000 for the Sutton Road Water Main Replacement Project.
Supervisor Kersten will make a motion to approve. Is there any support?
Support.
Treasurer Elliott. Paul?
This would be a project to replace the existing water main that runs under Sutton Road. With this project, we will take the water main off from underneath the road, moving it into the right-of-way, and we'll also increase the size of the water main from 6 to 8 inch.
Any questions? Questions from the board? Trustee Joseph.
Tom, how many engineers do we think handle this project at OHM?
So OHM has over 750 engineers. I might have 20, 25 people working on this individual project from 6 different disciplines, plus or minus.
I ask only because we have we've had some public comments regarding our in-house engineer, and I was part of the Water Rate Advisory Board when we talked about bringing on an engineer to do some township projects. As I look at the size and scope of this project, it doesn't seem to me, it's not my field, but it doesn't seem to me with all the different disciplines that, there are many types of engineers. And a firm your size or AEW, you have engineers from all walks that would be critical although they're all engineers, there's an interdisciplinary team of engineers. It seems to me that to have one person do a project of this size, in-house would really not be reasonable. And I'm not just asking you because you're the vendor that has the contract, but just as a generic, is this in terms of my concerns, do you see where I'm headed here?
Yeah, exactly. Every project's a little bit different, but, for example, the equipment to go out and survey the road, we have drones that are, $20,000 to $40,000 a piece. The licensing software to design it. You have licensure for like myself, professional engineer. You have water resource engineers, transportation engineers, surveyors, architects, et cetera, et cetera. So each project takes, a certain number of discipline expertise to complete. You wouldn't have a water main engineer design a bridge, right? Or a bridge engineer design a pathway. It just wouldn't make sense. But so this project on a water main side is a little easier, but I'll still have probably 20 people touch this project.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Trustee Anderson.
I know it's probably might be a little early to ask this question, but as far as that Sutton's recently been resurfaced, what type? I know you're still planning on what type of hardship for the residents along there could be envisioned here, and will there be any damage to that recently, recapped road? Thank you.
So the damage is expected to be limited to the existing road. We're going to move the water main into the green belt. You will have some areas that have to be dug up, but it'll be localized for each individual service, which typically is not under the road. So you might have a driveway or two get impacted, but for the most part, the water main's going to be in the green belt. The new water main's in the green belt. All the digging will be in the green belt. And what we do in the road will just be to abandon the old valves kind of in place. So it'll be very limited, localized disruption to the road.
Any further questions? Any further questions? I have a motion by Supervisor Kersten, supported by Treasurer Elliott, to approve item 10A. Deputy Rush?
Supervisor Kersten.
Aye.
Treasurer Elliott.
Aye.
Trustee Anderson.
Aye.
Trustee Joseph.
Aye.
Trustee Hornberger.
Item 10B.
Item 10B, to approve a recommendation from Public Services to award engineering design services to OHM in the amount of $99,000 for the 23-mile road water main valve insertion project.
Again, Supervisor Kersten will make a motion to approve. Is there any support?
Support.
Treasurer Elliott? Gentlemen, again.
This project would be to insert valves along the 23-mile road water main. This would allow our department to then isolate those sections of water main, so if we do have a break along 23-mile road, we're not putting large areas of residents and businesses without water during the repairs.
Questions from the board? Paul, there was a similar project, I want to say 5 years ago, that kind of did the same thing, kind of made sure that it was looped. I think you might have been before your time, I'm sorry.
Your knowledge is exceptional. That was on the south side. So a couple years ago, we did all the gap infills on the south side of 23 Mile in anticipation for this, so that you would have continuous loop service in order to take this one offline.
Okay, thanks. Any discussion from the board again? I have a motion by Supervisor Kersten, supported by Treasurer Elliott, to approve item 10B. Deputy Rush?
Supervisor Kersten.
Aye.
Treasurer Elliott.
Aye.
Trustee Anderson.
Aye.
Trustee Joseph.
Aye.
Trustee Hornberger.
Item 10C.
Approval of a request by the Senior Citizen Advisory Board to purchase 8-foot tables, folding chairs, card tables for the senior center, and a donation bench at Brandenburg Park in the amount not to exceed $9,800.
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Joseph, supported by Supervisor Kersten. Ms. Vanderson? All you.
Thank you. So this money comes from, there was a total of 61,000 and some change that was collected over the years through the senior center with past administrations, through fundraising and different programs that they had. So we've tasked the Senior Citizen Advisory Board to come to a plan for this money and find a way to spend it that's best for the seniors, members, both at this facility or at the senior center, wherever the membership sees fit for it. And so what you see in front of you is the first decision that they have made coming out of that money. So they are asking for 28-foot tables, 20 card tables, and 80 black padded chairs like the ones you'll see in the audience here. All of those will be stationed at the senior center as soon as they're able to enter that building and use that space for senior programming. And then the last item there is a donation bench at Brandenburg Park. They recognize that our new donation program that the board approved last year was a great use for the community and a way to kind of commemorate, it doesn't have to be past seniors, but living seniors and current senior members that are using the facilities. And so they're asking for a bench located at Brandenburg Park as well. So the total of that amount will not exceed $9,800, or 800. Wait, how much is that? $9,800 if approved tonight.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Trustee Joseph?
Yeah, just more of a comment to reiterate the monies that this is being used, the monies that are used for this purchase, as Ms. Vanderson indicated, were donations that were raised by the seniors some years ago. Ms. Bauer came to our senior advisory committee and gave a detailed analysis of the exact amount of those funds because the donation was made to the township. They are technically part of the township coffers and do require board approval. So it's not a separate fund that is, it is township money, so the board does need to approve it, but this requires no reallocation from general fund or any monies that were earmarked for anything else. This money has simply just been sitting in a fund earmarked for senior purchases. So they did a great job. Our senior advisory board really did a nice job of going through the list of potential options and things that the seniors wanted. And there are a number of other things that we believe they will put on hold until the renovations are complete. Some things like storage purchases, and it could be altered based on the final completion of the renovation over there. So this was a great start, and this was something they spent a lot of time deciding on, and it's a really good purchase for them. So thank you.
Any further questions? Have a motion by trustee Joseph, supported by Supervisor Kersten, to approve item 10C. Deputy Rush.
Trustee Joseph.
Aye.
Supervisor Kersten.
Aye.
Trustee Anderson.
Aye.
Trustee Hornberger.
Aye.
Treasurer Elliott.
Aye.
Item 10D.
Item 10D, request from the Parks, Recreation, and Senior Services Department for approval to host a free park entry day on Tuesday, July 1st, 2025, waiving all entry fees for Brandenburg Park.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Joseph, supported by trustee Anderson. Ms. Vanderson?
So we always ask our Parks and Recreation Commission to bring us any ideas for improvement, programming ideas that they see in other communities, ways to enhance Parks and Recreation. And so this was an idea that was born out of that commission. Our thoughts on this is that we chose a day that starts the month of Parks and Recreation month, the month of July. And so it's a way to celebrate that. It's about halfway through the season, and so always a good time to add in a refresher to the community that Brandenburg Park is here, it is theirs to use, and to allow people into the park free of charge, meaning those the daily parking passes that we typically collect would be waived, as well as any entry fee for them would be waived. Season passes would still be available, so if they want to purchase a season pass for the remainder of the season, that would be allowed, as well as any rentals of the pavilions still would be allowed that day, so revenue there. Looking back on past years, just to get an idea of how many we took in on a typical Monday non-holiday weekend, we did 103 daily passes, so that's physical cars coming into the area, and then around 35 passes of season passes that were sold that day. Again, season passes would still need to be purchased if you want to pay for the remainder of the season, but just that daily pass would be waived. But looking for board approval, because it's not tied to a specific event, this would be just a free, open, our typical park hours, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., open for free entry.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Seeing none, I have a motion by trustee Joseph, supported by trustee Anderson, to approve item 10D. Deputy Rush.
Trustee Joseph.
Aye.
Trustee Anderson.
Aye.
Trustee Hornberger.
Aye.
Treasurer Elliott.
Aye.
Supervisor Kersten.
Aye. Item 10E.
10E, approve a recommendation to provide a 10-hour OSHA safety training course for township staff through Solutions for Occupational Safety in an amount not to exceed $13,050.
Is there any motion to approve? Supervisor Kersten will make a motion to approve. Is there any support?
Support.
Trustee Anderson? Mr. Kerr?
Good evening. This item's for a OSHA training course for our employees in the Water and Sewer Department and facilities, including 1 in HR and 3 in public safety. We're always reviewing and searching for optimal safety and risk policies for our employees. Everyone wants a safe workspace. So this course will allow these employees to really get their hands on to OSHA training, what they can look for out into the field, and hopefully keep themselves safe.
Thank you. Questions from the board? Any questions from the board? I have a motion by Supervisor Kersten, supported by trustee Anderson, to approve item 10E. Deputy Rush?
Supervisor Kersten.
Aye.
Trustee Anderson.
Aye.
Trustee Joseph. Trustee Hornberger. Treasurer Elliott.
Aye.
Item 10F.
10F is to approve a request to adopt a resolution 2025-02, number 1, and resolution 2025-3, number 2, for the proposed Alray Road Maintenance Gravel Special Improvements Assessment District.
Is there a motion to approve? Supervisor Kersten will make a motion to approve. Is there any support? Support. Trustee Joseph? Gary?
Thank you. This is a petition of interest that was initiated by a property owner in the district. There are 14 parcels, and with a percentage signing the petition is 56%, 56.2%, which is over the 51% that is needed to proceed.
Questions from the board? Any discussion? I have a motion by Supervisor Kersten, supported by Trustee Joseph, to approve item 10F. Deputy Rush?
Supervisor Kersten.
Aye.
Trustee Joseph.
Aye.
Trustee Anderson.
Aye.
Trustee Hornberger. Treasurer Elliott.
Aye.
Item 10G.
Item 10G, approve a request to adopt Resolution 2025-04, number 1, and Resolution 2025-05, number 2, for the proposed Fortin Road Paving Improvements Special Assessment District.
Again, Supervisor Kersten will make a motion to approve. Is there any support?
Support.
Trustee Joseph? Carrie? You
Again,
wanna
this
cover
is, this is a paving SAD. An informational meeting was held back in December with 57.6% of the petitioners signing for this, and there's 46 petitions within the district.
Thank you. Any questions? Questions from the board? Trustee Joseph?
Yeah, just to point out, we often have this when we talk about special assessment districts. This is a special assessment district, unlike the, say, the public safety special assessment district, which is a district of the whole. In these two, this agenda item and the previous, this is a group of residents. I think you said 12 in the first and 46 in the second, that have asked the township to improve their roads at their cost. They, in exchange, will be assessed a tax amount, if you will, over a period of time to pay for these improvements that the district itself will uniquely benefit from. This is not an increase in any other residents' assessments or tax. This is done occasionally when a neighborhood wants an improvement, whether it be lighting or roads, that strictly benefits the residents on that particular road. And the process starts with this, and then you will bring back costs, and the district will then decide if they want to incur those costs, but at no time is this a increase on taxes to the township as a whole.
That is correct. We will have 2 public hearings, and they will be voted on, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Any further questions from the board? I have a motion by Supervisor Kersten, supported by Trustee Joseph, to approve item 10G. Deputy Rush. Sorry.
Supervisor Kersten.
Aye.
Trustee Joseph.
Aye.
Trustee Anderson.
Aye.
Trustee Hornberger. Treasurer Elliott.
Aye.
Item 11, addendums, there are none. Item 12, public comments. There is a 3-minute time limit. The mic is open.
John Speaka, Chesterfield Township. Again, in regards to the residents watching at home, I'm going to ask Trustee Hornberger to please turn your mic on when you're voting. People at home want to see which way you're voting. In response to the last township board meeting, I mean, you guys got to feel pretty good up there. I mean, you got between 10 and 20% raises. So considering, you know, the economy's taking a turn and things are getting bad and people are losing their jobs. Supervisor tonight made a statement that he's fair. I'm going to dispute that. I don't think you're being fair at all. When you expect the residents to abide by a 3-minute gag rule, then I expect the board members to abide by a 3-minute gag rule. Trustee Joseph at the last township board meeting spoke over 8 minutes. He's no different than me. So if you're going to extend that courtesy to him to speak over the allotted time and attack a resident, then I should have that same courtesy. So I think it's only fair. So you're not being fair, and you've done that on several occasions. So I can tell you the exact dates if you want those too. And as far as the marijuana money, I'd like to see the marijuana money spent on sidewalks in this township. The number one thing that residents want are sidewalks. It's the number one response in any survey when you ask on what residents want in this township. So a lot of money is diverted to the Jefferson area. It's diverted to the parks. But when it comes to safety, safety should be our top priority besides public safety. Safety of our residents riding their bikes, safety of our residents walking, and safety just being able to get out and get exercise. So in my opinion, that money should be diverted to put in sidewalks somewhere in this township. And as far as, and I will continue saying this, you know, Chief Miller came up here, and the pictures that you've seen on that screen, our first responders, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. So our first responders are the ones that should be getting the 10 to 20% raises. They put their lives on the line every day. If I asked you guys, give me 10 bullet points on what you did in the last 2 weeks, I bet you can't do that. So they're worth their weight in gold. So, and these raises that you gave yourselves, you guys aren't worth that.
Joe Kadich, I wish you'd extend me a little bit of time. This is something I wanted to lead off with that I hadn't prepared to talk about. And that was this morning when I had to go to a doctor's appointment. I got routed off of Jefferson because of construction. And when I came down Sugar Bush to Callan's, cars were backed up because there's a stop sign. Cars were backed up around the curve almost to the school. It took me almost 10 minutes because every car would go up, stop, everybody go up, stop. So when I went through, I called 911. I said, better get a cop out here. You need somebody to help move this traffic through. I got a call when I was driving from somebody, well, I guess who was involved with traffic, saying that basically it really wasn't his job, and he didn't have a car to put there for 4 or 5 hours. Now, we got 60 people in this police department now. If we can't bring a guy in and out, maybe an hour apiece, to get rid of that traffic. I went through at 9 o'clock and it was that. I don't know what the hell it was like earlier, but somebody had to take a look at what they're gonna do to leave that situation. There's a lot of people that got hung up there, and will still get hung up unless you get some traffic control there. The other thing I wanted to talk about, essentially on the upcoming water rate that's coming. We got the notice, you've got it coming up in the paper. We got the notice from Great Lakes Water. And before you do that, I think you owe it to us to take us through how the water rates are built. It's supposed to be in the HRW study. It hasn't changed from the same study we did 8 years ago. The rates have changed, but all the content in there is in there and what we're paying for. You're not supposed to be a money-making organization. You're supposed to charge the customers what we paid for it and make sure we get our water and sewer. It's not working out that way. I was supposed to have a meeting to find out what happened to the depreciation money that's in there, the $3 million a year approximately. That was called off. And basically, I looked on my own trying to trace it through. And you know what? Looking at the last audit, it showed $3 million unspent at the end of '23 and probably converted to cash. But it's not showing up in the enterprise account. Now, something's going on here that's really strange. I wish the hell we could get an audit in here that would look at it and tell us where it's going to. It's money, it is real money, Supervisor Kersten. It's not fake money. It's in there, it's paid in the water bills and the sewer bills, and it's not spent until the end, and it's just transferred to another account. Thank you.
Any further public comments? Trustee Anderson, start with you. Oh. Could you identify yourself? Please state your name for the record.
Sure. Scott Demink, Chesterfield. I just want to say, board, it's great to see you all. Pam, Kathy, Brad, David, and Hank, I wish you the best in 2025. It's very interesting. Board meetings, agenda's done in 45 minutes. God, you guys wait for me to leave to do that? It's great. So I just want to tell you, guys are doing a great job. And despite what some people say, the naysayers, they've always been there. You guys are doing a good job, and I just want to thank you. And it's different sitting in back, but I enjoy it.
Thank you, sir. You look bored. Trustee Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Demink. That's kind of a kind thing to hear for once. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying your time away from the township. I couldn't keep you out tonight, though, right? Supervisor Kersten, I hope that you know, whatever you can do at your level as far as the traffic created by these ongoing projects from Sugar Bush to 21 to Jefferson. I know it's a county project. I don't know if you, whatever you can do is, for example, on Cal and Sugar Bush, that intersection, it's a three-way stop. Well, what Mr. Kadish said is very accurate. Today was real obvious, especially with the middle school there and the traffic all coming up from probably moving from Jefferson from New Baltimore. That's become a main thoroughfare. I don't know if anything can be done at that intersection to you know, relieve the traffic there. The other thing I just want to say is remember to use caution while enjoying this spring type weather. Have a good night.
Trustee Joseph.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just a couple comments tonight. Our Friends of Chesterfield Police bowling fundraiser is this Friday. Ticket sales have been pretty strong, but anybody who is interested in donating to the Friends of Chesterfield Police, the event will take place this Friday at Premier Lanes, and you can find information about the event, including the raffles and all the various things going on Friday night at the Friends of Chesterfield Police Facebook page. I'm hoping to be there. I've given the board updates on our friend, Badge 55. He is home, successful trip to St. Jude's, and got his last radiation treatment. He is looking and feeling great, and I plan to be at the event on Friday night with Badge 55, Mr. Officer Riker. Thanks, Trustee Demink, for coming tonight, and I think we've actually solved the riddle on why these meetings were lasting so long, and maybe the fact that you're out there and not, you know, talking so much, we're going to get out sooner. I know you don't maybe believe that, but Mr. Kadich spoke, and he does have some good points with regard to the utilization of our in-house engineer. Unfortunately, the original acquisition of our in-house engineer has taken him to responsibilities that are not necessarily the original intent. He is pulling kind of double duty right now. We have not filled the positions that were vacated by our previous water department head and his deputy. So Mitch and his team are helping out when they can with projects in the township with F&O and the engineering work that he can do. But in terms of the specific comments around these two agenda items tonight, I just don't think it was really plausible to think that he could take those on in his capacity as the township engineer solely. Lastly, Mr. Supervisor, with all the work that's going on in DC, as I was listening to one of the presenters speak tonight, it dawned on me, we've had really a gold mine here in terms of the fiscal hawk conservative who comes to the podium and gives us critical advice about $30 lunches and ways to save money. They seem a little mean-spirited at times, but maybe we have our own Chesterfield Doge opportunity. He certainly has the tenacity, lacks the business acumen, the general business talent, has never paid payroll, struggles with the English language, but he is tenacious, and he does seem to sharpen the pencil quite a bit and lob grenades long after election cycle. Maybe you could put him to work somewhere and save the township taxpayers. Of course, they get the opportunity to bring him on full-time every 4 years, and they roundly reject, but maybe he could find a place in your administration as a consultant of some type, and we can maybe save the township taxpayers, you know, a couple of bucks. Thank you.
Thank you for your advice. I'm going to stick with Platt Moran, if you don't mind.
That's okay. I understand.
Trustee Ornberg?
I'm good, thank you.
Treasurer Elliott?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Just wanted to clarify something. We have budgeted for sidewalks in the last 3 years in both replacement and in maintenance. So we have been for years very conscientious of the sidewalk program and continuing along those, making those repairs. And so when I'm talking about using the marijuana funds, we had not made a plan for them, and we did have a presentation by our facilities and operations talking about the need for replacing our the places that our children play and the various issues that they have there and the dangers. And so when we're talking about safety of our children, I do feel that that is a priority. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a few comments from me. As I've said in previous meetings, we're very busy internally operating. Our capital improvement plan, our capital plan is for 2026 is underway. What you saw tonight on 2 projects that was moved forward in the capital plan for replacement, obviously because of the Jefferson corridor, the future is reconstruction, so we're trying to address that in a meaningful manner. I appreciate the board's support on that, and I'm sure Water and Sewer does also. Just some comments. The chair has broad discretion when it comes to being fair, and I will use that discretion as I see fit. And as was previously stated, the opportunity to win this chair has passed. So, Trustee Anderson, we did send an email. The county road signage, we added signs to it. We are trying to manage it. The engineers went back out and looked at it again today. I'm sure, like your phone, my phone, nonstop, what can we do about it? We're trying to manage it. Public safety's been involved in it. I'm gonna make a recommendation, though. I better not. There is, on the GLWA, Great Lakes water rate increase. We've publicized it. We've got it out as much as we can. The rate increase proposed is just a proposal. There's a public Zoom link and there's a public participation link in meetings. I would ask that anybody and everybody please participate in that. We put that link in the water bill, and we also sent it out in our flyer. And to Trustee Joseph, we have a new employee starting at the Water and Sewer Department Thursday, and this is a financial analyst that's going to fill that role. We will make an announcement once we get a photograph to share with him. One of the goals this year is to address some of the needs and administrative areas of the Water and Sewer Department, and we are doing that. Along with, as was said, our audit is beginning. The Platte Moran is in their last year. It is my request from Platte Moran to do a much deeper dive on all of our financial documents and files and accounts, and I'll have that engagement letter hopefully with Platte Moran in the coming months. And again, the number of projects that the department heads spoke about tonight are constantly underway, and we're trying to accomplish them in a timely manner to get us back in our home at the at Sugarwood site. So with that being said, we'll make a motion to adjourn. There is no closed session tonight. I'll move to item 15, adjournment. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there support? Trustee Joseph. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.